should sync in this. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our Livestock Live. Yay! Woo! So if you haven't been following on social media for the last 4 months, I'm just gonna give a brief overview before we jump into thoughts and feelings and things. The point of this is to kind of promote this horror anthology that Tasha and I put together, that hopefully we will have a release date. I have one I'm going to announce in a little bit, but I'm a little worried that I'm going to say it out loud and then the world is going to hate me and it's not going to get out in time. So Tasha and I months ago had decided we had some ideas for a horror anthology we wanted to work on together. We were getting actually pretty close, I think, to our timeline for when we wanted to start working on it. And then Roe versus Wade got overturned. And I had already kind of been mulling it over, but Tasha took the initiative and messaged and was like, hey, I was thinking. So we decided that our time and energy would be better spent working on an anthology written by women about body autonomy. And so tonight is all about the labor of love that is Livestock, horror stories of the unheard, from the unheard.
Right. Everybody delivered.
So we're going to be talking about, we're going to do the proof reveal. We're going to talk about all the people involved in the project, our thoughts and feelings on the project, read some thoughts from the authors that were sent in to us to share with you guys, and answer a couple questions and, anything else that comes up that has to do with our anthology. So we're going to kind of, for those of you who don't know, obviously Tasha's been here before. If you've been around, you know who she is. But this is my best friend, Melinda. Melinda has been in a horror movie review, and she was in the Zombie Live because we were at the beach. And so she's been around. We've known each other since we were five, six. And we both said different numbers since we're so in sync. And so she is also a part of this as well. So she's going to be here joining and talking about this as well. So, well, as we jump in, I wanted to kind of let everybody get a chance to talk about what this anthology meant for them. And that's kind of open to interpretation, whatever you guys want to share, but just to talk about what this meant for you, how you felt being a part of this, coming up with it, whatever. And we're going to start with Tasha.
So back in I don't know, was it March or April where there was the leak? Hi. There was the leak that they were thinking about it. Everybody was like,
yes.
Oh, it's no big deal, whatever. Yes. And then it happened, and I was like, a whole bunch of words that I probably shouldn't say. And you also live in a conservative state, so you share the pain. And I was sitting at work for 4 days in a row with my blood just boiling, listening to all the things that people were saying. This is a way to make people take responsibility for their behavior. And which is ironic because, they're talking about the importance of babies' lives, but then they're also reducing them to being a consequence of behavior.
Exactly.
Whatever. Right. The whole there's so many loving families, and I'm like, okay, well, what about all the kids in the foster system?
Yeah.
Everything that everybody had to say, I'm like, no, you're wrong.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yes, and I will bang my head against the wall trying to get somebody to understand. And it just blew me away that there were people out there who didn't see this as being a big deal and potentially having horrible repercussions. And most of those same people were the ones who said back in February or March, oh, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now it's happened. So how are you going to say that, oh, well, this is out of the realm of possibility now? Because you can't.
Yeah.
So I felt like this was a good way to artificially smash the patriarchy, since we can't physically go out and do it right now. So I felt like, and like you said, we were already planning one. I think it was within 3 or 4 days of when we were gonna.
So close.
It was bam, last minute
immediate, like, yes, okay, let's do this instead. Yeah.
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 So I felt like it was a good way to stick it to them.
Yeah.
As I go
out.
drop the mic.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I go set shit on fire.
That's right. Yeah, so Melinda has a story in the anthology. Spoiler alert. So that's kind of her involvement, and then she's also helped me take care of some other things as well. But so what does this mean for you?
I'm gonna turn this way just a little bit.
I'm louder.
I've been told many times that I'm not loud enough when we're recording. So here we go. So we were actually over for dinner, hanging out, when the idea like actually came through.
Yeah.
When you were chatting about it, and even the name and like all of that, and so it was all very exciting. For sure, it was. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was all very exciting. It was like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And
hi, Lauren. Sorry.
For me, I am not a big horror fan.
Right.
I have a lot of respect for it. I'm just I don't like jump scares and all that jazz. So
big old chicken.
Shut up. Anyways,
yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I don't write dark stuff.
Very true.
And I have a history in writing with Angel, and I've done writing on my own.
Yep.
And so I think she was nervous to ask me because
you also have a lot going on.
That's also true. Yeah. It's also true.
Yeah.
But when she asked me, I was like, yeah. I was like, I may have left you on red actually, because I think we were busy when you asked. But I am super excited to submit something, and it's definitely different than other things that I've written, because my story, while it doesn't come from a personal experience, it comes from a personal fear.
Yeah.
And something that I feared for like the first 6 months of my pregnancy, when I was pregnant 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So like it's 4 years ago. Math is hard. And so it was it definitely very meaningful to be able to put something into words of like how I actually do feel in my mind about these things, because you're right, we live in a very conservative state.
Yeah.
Our state was 6 weeks and you can no longer get an abortion.
Yep.
And we were
heartbeat bill.
Yeah. That tells you where we live. And so it's one of the strictest, and it's not the strictest, but it's one of the strictest. And so when that happened, that was just like sickening to me, because we would like to have another baby. And that's something that makes me not want to go through the process, because it's a process for us to be able to get pregnant. And it makes me almost not want to invest in that process for what if that happens, and that is still a law here.
Yeah.
And what if that happens and it's things out of your control, and it's like, it's horrifying, truly, like thinking about it. In fact, in my mom's group, we talked about, not this anthology quite yet. It's like we meet at a church and stuff. So I'm like, we go hard over here at Voices. We go hard over here. But I mean, there's some people I'm gonna share it with for sure.
Yeah.
But we talked about that one day, because one of our girls in our group recently had a miscarriage, and it was so awful for her, not only emotionally because you're losing a baby, but also because she was terrified of what could happen. Yeah. The consequences. And luckily it was during a time when they weren't allowed to enforce that. Like there were some court orders that went into place that were like, nope, we can't do that right now.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, yeah. So I'm glad to be able to add to this with a lot of emotions and feelings, and like get my thoughts out there.
Yeah.
And join and help support people, because there have to be other people who feel like me, that that are worried. They want these things, but then they're hesitant because what if?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, it's interesting because, can you hear me? Okay. I'm loud, so probably. Yeah, I
What?
think, and for me, it's interesting because it's kind of ironic actually, because one of the other things that Tasha and I talked about when we were talking about doing the other anthology was making it an opportunity for people who have never been published to submit stories to get published. And it's interesting that we went from one level of not being heard to like another. And so it was such an easy jump for me. And I have not, full disclosure, have not been pro-choice my whole life. There was a time I grew up in, I wouldn't say a religious household, but they have a belief system that they follow that tells you that this is like a no-no. And so I grew up for a long time being like, I would never, like that kind of dumb shit. And not understanding that not only should you not say things like that, but also that it's not as simple as an unwanted pregnancy. This goes a lot deeper than a lot of people are prepared to talk about. And I think that when you think about all of these things and how it affects people, and I know people that have been through things with trying to get pregnant or losing children or that kind of thing. And so I think that like power of the pen. Yeah, that's right. Power of the pen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that like, so for me, I just, this is one of the few things that I don't shy away from voicing my opinion on. Besides horror, y'all already know about that. But when it comes to these things of like, conversations, are touchy subjects or things that are going to start an argument. This is like the one thing that I don't care how you feel. You want to talk about it? Let's fucking talk about it, And this is one of those things that I felt really strongly about. And I knew, because one of the things, of course, that we had talked about, Tasha, was how many women were angry about this and how many were left. Come on, say hi.
I know. Leave it to the man to feel left out.
Yeah. He has to make an appearance, at least one or three.
One.
And we wanted giving people an opportunity to really get their thoughts out there, because we were essentially being silenced. I mean, you can say what you want, pro-life, pro-choice, whatever, we're being silenced. And I just, to be able to create something that gave women an opportunity to be heard was huge for me. Huge, huge, huge. And yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting journey, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think, so I got the proof delivered Monday, Tuesday. I can't remember, but
it was Monday. It was one of the days. I can tell you. Look real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll hit this in. The rage, exactly. So much anger, so much sadness too, for all of the things that we were, what I feel like, being robbed of. Like this, and it's like one of my favorite memes about body autonomy is like, if you want to talk about birth control, then men should have vasectomies until they're deemed mature enough, financially stable enough to have children. And then under that, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, did it make you uncomfortable to talk about taking away those things for men? Like, it's such a valid point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had ordered a proof because I was advised by Ruth Anna Evans that was what I should do. And I trusted her, and she was 100% correct. And so we wanted to make sure that the cover was going to work and everything looked good and all of these things. It was Monday. And so I got this on Monday. So here is our proof reveal for Livestock. Horror stories from the unheard. Ooh.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. I love the colors. Like, the colors came out great on there.
And if I remember right, the colors were a complete accident, weren't they?
Yes, yes. Okay, so Ruth Anna Evans, who is a horror friend and a horror author and a cover designer, she donated the wrap for this story. Tasha and her you guys were already connected, and Tasha, I guess, had talked to her about it or something, but she was happy to help by contributing a cover. And I mean, like, dude, she nailed this. Like, it's perfect. So pretty. Oh, thanks, Tiffany. Yeah. It's even brighter in person. It's a little hard to see because it's glossy, but the colors are very gritty. Like, they're very it's stunning in person. Just wait. And then let's get, hey, pro-choice all the way. Crazy that we even talk about anything else. It's almost
amen.
I know, it's like going back to the Stone Ages, 100%. So Livestock, horror stories from the unheard.
The cover probably,
the
not
cover,
not the
yeah.
choice.
No, this turned out so good, and it's 100% like this was like when we started bouncing around ideas on what we wanted. We knew the title needed to be a gut punch, and we wanted the cover to be a gut punch. And girl, you fucking delivered. Thank you so much. This looks amazing. So Livestock Horror Stories from the Unheard. The back says, you know what else doesn't have reproductive rights? Cattle, livestock. Where the history books teach us progress, we see true injustice. Where there was once an illusion of hope, we see true despair. The same voices that preach equality and tolerance are the ones fastening our muzzles. Our existence, our purpose labeled reproduction only. We may be allowed to work and vote beside men, but to them we are not equals. These are not simply written words. These are the many thoughts, emotions, and ideas of the women the world has told to stay silent. These are the songs of women who will no longer go unheard. The decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a woman's life, to her well-being and dignity. It is a decision she must make for herself. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This turned out beautifully. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So yeah, when I got this in my hand, I was like, oh my God. Like,
and it wasn't soaking wet.
Which one?
There's two left.
Oh my God. There we go. Okay.
Melinda's slacking.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm trying to tell some people to join the live right now. Yes.
Yeah, the back turned out. I mean, oh my God.
I found that quote from RBG and I was like, that's the one. That's got to be the one.
Fuck yeah. That's right.
Gone too soon, RBG.
I know.
Gone too soon.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then the other thing I was going to read from it, I'm going to read the table of contents, but I wanted to read the dedication as well. Once I find it.
It's in the front.
There it is. It's little. I wanted to keep it short. Shut up. All right.
You have to show them the artwork.
I'm gonna get to the artwork when I talk about who formatted it, because that's
not know about the artwork.
Yeah. So the dedication. This is a collection of stories for women, a reminder we see and hear you. This is for anyone raised to believe they owed the world something. This is for men who stand by our sides, and a reminder to those who do not. This is for you, all of us. Mm-hmm. And so one of the other things that was, I guess we'll call it donated, I don't really know what else you would call it, was the formatting for the paperback and the ebook, which came from Damien from 3B Publishing. He formatted this and had done, fantastic job, other than me messing up files that I sent him, but that's a me problem. So he wanted to see what I thought of putting this at the chapter heads, and one of the ones you can see it on Tasha's forward. All right, before I show you this page, I was very excited to get this situated and sent to Damien, and I was really stupid, and I put the wrong type of forward. So trust me, it's going to be fixed. I know that it's there. I know that's dumb, but let's get that out of the way. It's not forward like moving forward. Angel knows. Okay? So ignore that. And this is what he put at the top of all of the chapter heads.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was like, do you think it's too much? And I'm like,
no,
it is not too much.
Not too much.
So, yeah. And I mean, and it's at every, and then it's also in the cover page as well.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I feel like he especially has been one of the most outspoken, like, especially because there's been this whole rash lately of creeps that have just like come out of the woodwork. Yeah. And he's always one of the first ones to pop up and be like, you guys are bullshit.
Let me tell you. Yeah. Like his posts and stuff when people are like messing with his friends. I mean, he's like, I'm not playing with you boys today. Like, I love it. No, he did a fantastic job. He was also a pleasure to work with. And I just, when I had to message him, I'd be like, so I used the wrong forward. I'm like, such an idiot. Not like, I should have known that. But yeah, so I'm going to read the table of contents. And then we'll read some stuff. I'd sent all of the authors messages to give them an opportunity if they wanted to like say something, have me talk or say something on their behalf for the live, because there's 17 stories, and having 17 people on one panel was not practical. So that's a lot. So, but I still wanted everyone to be heard. So I was like, send me some stuff and I'll read it. So here's our table of contents. The foreword is by Tasha Reynolds. A Good Day by Ruth Anna Evans. A Paring Down. Y'all know I edit my videos when I have to read stuff, right? Just so we're clear.
Pairing.
Pairing. By Sarah Drobeck. Sorry. Urban Forestry by Maureen O'Leary. The Quantum Mixtapes of New Venus by Joan Windlin. Cuckoo by Kay Hannafin. Lex Talionis by M. Edusa. The Old Ways by Christian Irwin. Help is on the Way by Kat Valor. Bed Rest by Yvonne Dutchover. The Three Undoings of Della Ray by Sabrina Vorman. Mercy by Kira Torres. And They Shall Be Changed by Hazel Rhaegar, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Sorry if I butchered that. Go Down Swinging by Tiffany Michelle Brown. Witch's Heart by Stephanie Parent. Half Mile by H. Everand. The Heartbeat, Melinda Brunson. And The Burden, Angel Krause.
Bam.
I'm pumped. This turned out like I can't even. So
Super exciting.
So Tasha and I, what'd she say? Sorry.
It's going to be so, like, I had to take breaks while I was editing because just reading through the stories, like, got me so fired up. I was like, okay, I need to walk away for a second because I'm losing my focus. Can't pay attention to what I'm doing.
I agree with that. I took a little bit of a sneak peek because she had some Adobe questions that I was trying to help with. Okay.
Likely story.
I was going to say, I'm not in denial about my inability to work with technology. How I get videos out is beyond me.
But
thanks, Noreen. Appreciate the support.
I was reading through some of them and I was like, fuck. That's what it took. One of the things that took so long for me to finally send mine in was I had to keep stopping because I write something and I go back and I cry and then I'm like, that's garbage. And I go back. But like, I was reading through some of these and I'm like, I don't even know.
There's some that get your blood boiling. There's some that make your heart break. There's some that get you amped and you're like, fuck yeah. Like you just there's so many different emotions that all of these stories, like, honestly, like this is like the perfect mix for this it's anthology.
A really good mix. Yes.
Yeah. I had to stop a lot when I was writing mine too. I cried a lot.
Yeah.
Writing mine. So Tasha and I split up the author, I guess we'll call them like little notes. I don't really know what you call them. Blurbs. Yeah.
Blurbs.
So so we're gonna read those, the ones that were sent to us. Tasha, you got yours up faster than me?
It's yes.
Professionals. Okay. Okay, so do you want you read your, we'll just bounce back and forth. You read one, I'll read one.
Okay. Now go.
And go.
Hold on, let me pop this up first.
Okay, go ahead. I have 2 daughters and I always encourage them to read more and also express themselves through art.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And sometimes that's all we have because we're not allowed to do it any other way. So it's, as long as we're not just accepting the silence, that's great. That makes me happy.
True that.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one I have is from Stephanie Parent. And says, I wanted to be part of this anthology because I believe bodily autonomy is a central human right and our government is attempting
Oh, good. You can't read either. Good.
No, I can't. It's great.
Great.
Is attempting to take this right away from women, LGBTQ plus, and other marginalized groups. In my story, I wanted to explore the way those in power have been threatened by women who claim I haven't even been drinking.
I was just going to say that same thing. I was going to be like, she's up there drinking water. Can't even get it out.
She says it's water.
I mean, we're going to pretend it's vodka, so I save face.
That's right.
Ooh, in my story, I wanted to explore the way those in power have been threatened by women who claim bodily autonomy throughout history. It might seem like we live in a completely different world from the time of Puritan witch hunts, but in some ways, things haven't changed that much.
Yeah, she's dead on. I love her.
Yes.
I'm going to say this after everybody. Everybody's story is fantastic. There's not anybody that like didn't submit like a fantastic. So if I get redundant, it's still true.
Oh, absolutely.
So my first one is by Kira, from Kira Torres. I think what you guys are doing is amazing, and I hope these stories get people talking more about the dangers of removing abortion rights and the rights of women in general. And I hope everyone enjoys Mercy and takes something from it. Mercy is the title of her story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like that's like my ultimate goal for this is like, no matter what, I want if there's one person who reads through this and is like, holy shit, like that's gonna make me feel better.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this too, because I think inevitably we're going to get really mad, really like angry reviews. But the fun part about that is you already donated to the charity. That's right. So you can take your pro-life ass on down the road because our charity got help. So fuck you.
Plus, I feel like that's just going to inspire people who don't feel that way to read it even more.
100%. You don't even have to write back and be like, it sucks that you felt that, because other people are going to reply underneath those reviews and they're going to be like, you suck.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Why did you buy this? But thank you. But why?
I think, and this is what I love so much about the title and the cover art, there is no denying what this is about, which we talked about. I mean, Tasha and I talked about this because I was like, do we do a trigger warning? Like, is it not super obvious what it's about? Like, so we didn't do one because I mean, this is what it's about. It's meant to be uncomfortable. If you read these things and you're uncomfortable, good. You should be.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you pick it up or if you see it in, like online, you can see in the cover art what there's a pregnant belly, there's sadness, there's, like they're behind
that barbed wire,
wire, like
makes my heart beat fast.
There's no question what the book is about.
Yeah, I agree. So that's why there's not a trigger warning in it, because they're like, be good. Do something with that anger, Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Tasha. My next one is Sabrina. My main feelings that drove me to writing what I did was focusing on a story where the female protagonist had a positive experience with sex. Oftentimes, stories regarding sexual health, abortion, and human rights lean towards rape as an inciting incident. I wanted to subvert that trope and show a different kind of tale, which I think, Yes. And that was another thing that we had talked about is like somebody's reasons don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, if they are making that choice for them and they believe it's the right choice, it doesn't matter what got them into that position.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. No, that's beautifully said. I love that one.
Yeah. She did a good job.
I was just going to say, along the same lines, I mean, there are people who would never have chosen to have an abortion, but it was medically necessary.
Yeah. That's kind of the point, is that it's not so black and white.
Yeah. Like we definitely know people that they suffered a miscarriage, but they had to go through the process.
I know several people that happened to.
Of having it removed. That is clinically an abortion.
Yeah.
And it's not that they didn't want it. It's just their body couldn't handle it. And clinically, that is an abortion when you have to have help removing it.
Yeah.
And that's just medical.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole premise, is that the reason is irrelevant. There's all these reasons and they're all valid. It doesn't matter what you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You can't be boxed into like black and white.
Yeah.
All gray. And
because I talked about like not shying away from talking about this. So my family is very, very pro-life, as they call it.
I don't ask these questions of my family, so we'll see how it goes.
And so my mom said something that was like, talking about the fact that, her problem is the people who use it as birth control. Okay. Before everyone gets angry and starts typing messages, allow me to tell you what I said. I said, but that's not a thing, right? And she was like, it is a thing. I was like, but statistically, analytically, data wise, that's not a real problem. That's not something that is happening all the time. There's not hundreds of thousands of women every day going to get abortions because they don't want to take birth control. Like, that's not a thing. And you need to understand that, because that's not happening. Like, that's not a practical argument, because there is no data that suggests that that's even happening as much as you think it is. And that's not a reason for you to deny women their ability to choose what happens to their body. So either way,
100%.
Plus, I mean, to like throw some of my business out there, like I can't take birth control. I have tried so many different types of it, shots, different pills, like everything, and it screws me up. Like everything that it's supposed to help with is like multiplied for me. I turned into just like this raging basket case that has no control over my emotions, and I'm a mess. So I can't take it.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Not
there's
to
lots
say that.
Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead.
No, go. No.
I was just going to agree with you.
You're fine. I totally lost my train of thought. Like as I started to speak. No.
Like I'm the same way, and like just super sensitive to certain like estrogen and things like that, and that's what's in a lot of birth control. And then if you're allergic to latex, and you find that out the hard way, that means two things.
Oh god.
Then you know,
I can't.
like it's difficult, and the other options are either gross or expensive, you know, so it's not always as easy as people like to make it out to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Christian was an absolute must.
And I think that is actually the case with probably a majority of the abortions that actually happen.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like their justification for not allowing it is because of this teeny tiny percentage of situations that aren't as big a deal as they think they are. And still, it's none of your damn business. Like even still, you know? Yeah. So mine is from my next Google scrolls up every time. Okay. My next one is from Maureen O'Leary. I wrote this story, Urban Forestry, after reading in the news about homeless women living by the river in Sacramento being brutalized. They were so vulnerable. Women experiencing poverty and homelessness are so vulnerable. Thank you for sharing the story in the anthology. I am so grateful. Maureen, we are thankful for you. That was it's interesting to hear inspirations of stories that you've read, because then you're just like, oh, and it just makes you think about it a little bit different. So yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing it with us. Yeah, for sure. Oh, watch out.
Let's see. I have Catherine Hannafin.
I think that's right.
I asked that like she's sitting there next to you so that I can ask.
Is that right? She's just gonna like pop up, right?
She did not object.
We didn't hear any cuss words or anything.
It says, you can say that I'm very excited to be a part of the anthology. My story was inspired by the Umbrella Academy, which I love, and the Midwich Cuckoo.
You're getting there? Midwich is
no,
right.
I'm not. Cuckoos and Village of the Damned. It always bothered me that the people are randomly impregnated with superpowered children who may or may not be evil, are never centered in the story, or even have their feelings explored.
Yep.
It's a pretty messed up and traumatic situation, and I wanted to write a story to reflect how disturbing it would be to have your body autonomy violated like that. I will say that phrase correct at least one time before this is up.
That's the dare. We'll see how it goes. We'll see.
One time. Just one.
Just one.
That's where I'm setting the bar.
That's a good place to set it. So my next one is from Tiffany Michelle Brown. I'm really grateful that you've given authors an opportunity to share their hurt, dismay, and anger over recent decisions and debates surrounding abortion access and bodily autonomy.
Oh,
shit.
Do we need to make this a drinking game?
I was gonna say, look, I'm like most of the way. Jesus Christ. For me, this gave me an opportunity to not mince words and share my fears. My story is not subtle. I agree with that. It isn't draped in metaphor, and it came from a very real place. I think it's important to speak out and to use art to further the conversation. Mm-hmm. And raising money for charity as well, that makes it even better. Oh, thanks, Tiffany. Yeah, I agree with the not subtle thing. I agree. Yeah.
I haven't read that one yet.
Which is good. Like, I mean, I feel like we covered pretty much every base and every end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like our stories are everywhere, which is amazing.
You're 100% right. It literally comes from every direction. I mean, like, I don't know how many more there could even be. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
So different,
Mhm.
some different views.
Yeah.
Let me see. I have Joan.
Yeah.
I was inspired to write the quantum mixtapes of New Venus because, like every other woman, I was horrified to discover the Supreme Court had decided my body was not my own. Even as a postmenopausal woman, I was terrified. Once I don't own my body, what rights do I have? None. Suddenly, America felt like a trap. The inability of women to leave New Venus reflects that feeling.
Mhm.
And that was a really clever one too. Like I had no idea where she was going with it, and she just like
Yeah, no, me neither.
grabs you, and I was like, yes.
Yeah. I thought, yeah. Yeah. So I have one more, and then I have one that I'm going to read after this, but it's longer, so I saved it for last. This one is from Ruth Anna.
Oh,
I think I want to say that I am filled with rage and fear, even months later, and that my rage and fear will not lessen until we have made sure that in this country, no person will ever be forced to give birth against her will. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
freaking nailed it.
Yeah. I got to find the
100%.
other one, so feel free to, talk while I find it. I didn't have it pulled up. There's no point. Every time I pull up something in Google, it just like closes it. And I have to start over anyway. So might as well make it awkward and talk about the fact that I ain't got it up.
I mean, that's half my dating life.
I was about to say that. Didn't mean to.
Moving right along. We're so mature.
I still have cats too to read.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry. You have
read
one
that
more.
one.
I'm sorry. Read
Yep.
cats.
Cats. I love cat. Hers was, I think, one of the first one because Ruth Anna's was the very first one I read. I want to say cats was like
Really close to that. Yep.
yeah.
We got hers pretty quickly.
And it was like especially like a punch in the face for me. Like
Hers was, yeah. I remember reading it. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. Every story ignited something within me, and that's not an exaggeration. I'm not just saying that because the authors can hear me. Every story in this anthology hits on a different level. But I will say, I do remember reading it and thinking about the perspectives that we were starting to get already with just a few couple submissions and being like, this is going to be something truly special. Like I remember thinking that, but yeah, go ahead. Read her thoughts. This is Kat Valor.
She says, my story in particular was actually based off of a headline I saw that made me angry about a pregnant woman that was shot. And the newspaper framed it as him killing the baby instead of him killing the woman. I actually stopped writing the story I had outlined to work on this piece because I was so pissed. And then I went back to find the article. And when I went back to find the article, it was impossible to track it down because I couldn't remember the state, and there are so many similar stories. I almost didn't get my submission edited in time for the call because I was trying so hard to find the story that inspired it. Which is just like another one, like the fact that it's so hard, that it's such a common thing that you can't just like Google it and get something.
Yeah, because it's all done the same way. It's all talked about the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's especially sad. Like,
yeah,
and that just kind of goes back to like being the label of like reproduction only, because it's like that was what gave that woman value as far as they were concerned. She wasn't a human being with dreams and feelings and hopes for the future. She was a carrier for something else.
Should I bring up the first email that we got about?
Go ahead. Yeah, do it. And then I'll read the last one. You do that. Tell that story first though. And you can read about this in the forward when you all go get the book. But anyway, go ahead.
The audacity. Let me just, it still makes me
You are livid. Dude,
so mad.
You are so mad. I remember this like it was yesterday. Yeah.
So I'm sure not everybody remembers the exact specifics of the call. However, it was clear that we wanted women, people who identified as women, etc.
Body autonomy for women. Yeah.
That was who we were looking for stories from.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want stories from men trying to write from a female perspective. And some guys do that rather well. They can do it okay. Usually not under circumstances like these, but because of the topic and everything, like
yeah.
And one of the first emails I got was from someone who was
from
like,
someone?
Yes,
from this dude.
He
go ahead and say the name. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't say the name.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
From this dude.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, I think this is such a great idea. It's such a good cause. I support it so much. I have a story that I think would be a great fit. And I was like, okay. So I tried to like be nice and was like, hey, really appreciate that. Our call is only accepting submission from this particular group of people. But if I see something that is accepting other stories that yours might be a good fit for, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And then he responds again and was like, oh, hey, thanks for getting back to me. Here's the link to the story.
He didn't even read the email.
Bro, are you not listening to me?
Yeah.
Like,
no, definitely not.
Why don't you just mansplain this whole thing to me? And then he turned
like
around.
Of all the things to do that to, right? Like of all the things to be like, yeah, I know you want women to be heard, but like, shh, let me tell you this.
Right?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
And his story was written from a female perspective. And it was clearly like neon letters, I am a man trying to write as a woman. Like it could not have been more obvious.
Yeah.
And then he had the audacity again to ask me for editing feedback on it. Bro, I ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's ridiculous. I forgot about the editing thing. I forgot about that.
And actually, I think it was Ruth Ann I talked to, and she was like, he ain't paying you for your time.
Yeah, like get fucked. I don't.
It just blew my mind. Like for us to make it so obvious what we were looking for and him to just blatantly ignore all of it.
And just to give you an idea of what true advocacy looks like, right? Damien, when he formatted the two different versions for us, he removed, I originally had his name as a credit for formatting it because I was really, it made me feel really good that he was willing to do that for us, you know? And he removed his name because he didn't think it needed to be in there because he's a man. And it wasn't about that, you know? And I was trying to be nice. Like I wanted to show the support and I was like, you know, and I'm just like, you know, I wanted to be in there because you didn't have to do this, but you did. You're an advocate for us. Like, you know, and he was like, I hear you, but don't put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were a fair amount of guys that were like,
yeah, major
you shouldn't be thanking us for this because it's what we're supposed to be doing. It's what everybody should be doing is like supporting this. And
yeah.
And here we are.
Oh my God, that is super long.
Well, it's a couple different things.
Okay.
So this
I just saw the document on her phone.
Yeah, she sent me a Google Doc. No, this is great. I wanted the thoughts, and here they are. Because we didn't. There's not like backgrounds to these stories or authors in the book. So this is. I mean, that was. You know, this is a way to kind of get some. You know, in their heads or whatever. So this is by Yvonne. She did bed rest. Is her story. Personal about bed rest specifically. Bed rest was inspired by a nightmare I had. I was confined to bed, had limited movement, and someone was walking up the stairs to my room slowly. Very gradually, I realized I was pregnant. As my sister in the dream started talking to me, I had to figure out if her intentions were good or bad. The main character is lactose intolerant, and some other figures keep insisting she drink milk daily. They do this for a nefarious purpose, but I also included it because it's a metaphor for people who don't listen to women about their own bodies and what they need or don't need. 2 of my friends dealt with preeclampsia during pregnancy. One went into labor after only a couple of days of bed rest, and her symptoms didn't progress too far. The other case was more severe. I talked with this friend about her symptoms. She told me about pounding headaches, being very fuzzy headed to the point where it was hard to think, and everything on her body being swollen, including her earlobes. I had to steal that detail. She also told me that she rarely had to pee and hardly sweated, which indicated she was in bad shape medically. I went back and forth about how much information to include and where we are in the world and the timing of events in this story. In the end, I left it as vaguely the US, and I didn't give a lot of time clues. I wanted it to feel like it could happen anywhere at any time because it has and may continue to. My goal was to create a gradual increase of dread as you figure out that this world is similar to the world we live in, but it's much worse. And then her other note says, as a woman who lives in Texas and has fewer reproductive rights than I did in early June, the theme of this anthology is especially important to me right now. I believe some people have good intentions and religious convictions with the passage of these laws, but limitations on reproductive health have unintended consequences. We've seen that in different states where women have faced terrible situations. For instance, some may have been carrying fetuses with no heartbeat or severe abnormalities, yet they are unable to get abortions because medical professionals are afraid of being prosecuted. In some cases, these women are in danger of not being able to get pregnant in the future and are also risking other serious health problems or death. I am really looking forward to reading the other stories in the anthology. Even though it's a rough topic, I appreciate that people are sharing their creativity and passion and support for this cause.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, the love and support we've got. I know we're going to get a lot of hate eventually, but really haven't yet. Like we haven't yet. We've been very sheltered by our wonderful support system, but the amount of support and stuff we've gotten on this project has just been like immense, like so much. One of the other people I wanted to mention as far as support. So we know someone named Christina. She does stickers, bookmarks, and she also does pre-made book covers. And she did have a booktube channel. I'm not 100% sure if she still does or not. I can't remember, but her name of her business is True Born Design. And I'm not going to show them because I want them to be a surprise when everybody gets their contributor copies. But she donated 2 sets of 2 sticker designs for everybody to get in their contributor packages when we get those ready to go out. And because she was very on board with this as well and wanted to help. So really appreciate that too. That was really cool of her.
They're right next to me and they're fucking gorgeous.
Tasha, you already know what they are.
So excited for everybody to get them.
Well, you get some too because you don't have them. I already have them.
It's like Oprah. You get a sticker and you get a sticker.
You get a sticker. You can't even see it. That's the back. There you go. There's your preview.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous.
They're stunning. She did a fantastic job. And those, yeah, I mean, but she, like, I reached out to her because I was like, I'm like, I'll buy them, like, whatever, and then she just sent them to me, like, never asked me for payment, never even, like, just sent them to me. And that was, that was really cool too. So I got questions, I guess. Let me see. I don't have those up either, just so we're all clear. So professional. I will in a minute. How do I get to my, here we go.
I'm on Twitter.
I got it. Is this it? This is it. Okay. It's a pinned tweet. That made it easier.
There we go.
Okay. So I've got some questions. I guess we can either take turns answering these, or if we're feeling, leapfroggy and it just speaks to you, answer or whatever. But so we may have sort of touched on this, but maybe not this specifically. So the first question is, what's the most fulfilling part of this project for all of you? Tasha, you want to go first? You want to think about it? That face is confusing me. I don't know.
I just would say, I don't know. It probably sounds kind of pretentious or like I feel like we gifted people this opportunity to speak out. And I don't look at it that way. It's like just kind of providing an outlet for.
Yeah. What is happening? What?
Oh shit, where'd it go? There's a ladybug. And I heard it buzzing around and then it landed on my keyboard.
They're good luck. Don't kill it.
Don't kill it.
I'm not going to kill it, but it scared the shit out of me.
Well, that's valid.
Yeah.
Deep sigh.
That's right. To be honored, to be able to provide that opportunity to people, to be
in a position where we could do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the unheard.
Mm-hmm. To be able to give the people a voice and get their stories out there for other people to be able to relate to or feel something from. And
yeah, what she said. To be able to talk about their nightmares and their worst fears and
their worries,
their raging vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Love all of that.
Yeah. What about you?
Same.
Don't say ditto. Okay. I thought
It really is, though. No, I don't do ditto. But I mean, I really do feel the same. Like, that's one of the things that was so exciting for me was that, let's just be clear. As a country, pro-choice is actually how our country feels. Okay?
yes.
Let's be very clear about
and
that.
And that's a numerical, that's data. That's data. That's
Yes.
not just a opinion.
Yes. The majority of the people, it doesn't matter what that number majority is, the majority of our country is pro-choice.
It's pro-choice.
Whatever that means to them, they are pro-choice, okay? They are pro bodily autonomy. They are pro you get a say in what happens to your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so this book is really a love letter to them because it's letting them know that they are actually heard and they are not alone in believing that they deserve to have a right over the say of their own body and that women deserve to have a right over their, like, the rights to their own, like, body that they live in, you know?
Yeah.
So that is my feeling about it. Is it's really like that's who it's for, and that's these voices that were able to go into it. It's like it's just letting the other people know, like, we're out here. We're with you.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, holding your hand, even though
like
you're
the beacon. Like, sorry, I went Lord of the Rings. I couldn't help. I'm sorry. That was my little note. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But
yeah.
What is this question?
You gotta wait till I answer, and then.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we gotta wait.
Okay. So for me, I'm gonna go a little bit different. It is kind of hard to not say the same thing though, because that really is the most rewarding. Mm-hmm. But I think for me, so okay. No one knows who I am. Like, so when we decided, I had like a genuine fear that no one was going to be interested in submitting to this. Like, I had a very, very real fear that we were not going to get enough stories to do this anthology. And I was worried about that, not for my own namesake, but because, you know, oftentimes what happens with these things is people are really, really mad for a couple of days. And then they're like, oh, okay, back to life, you know, but so many of us are still very angry, very angry. And so to see that people were coming out and making a point, and there are some people who were doing multiple submissions at the same time, but still made time to make sure that they were able to take out like all the things that they were feeling and put them in something that they trusted with us. And I think that knowing that people are still out there, that are still angry, that are still willing to stand up and say something, and, you know, whatever that means for them, I think that has been probably the most like important thing, or most, I forgot the way it was worded. The most rewarding thing for me is because that's what we're trying to do, is to show that like these people are not alone. You're not alone. And this was a way to like reinforce all the things that we already felt. And that made me feel really good about all of that.
It's back.
What?
It's just a ladybug.
Oh, the ladybug. I was like, what's back?
Catch
it.
Is
it a ghost?
It randomly keeps like buzzing and just like freaking me out because I'm not expecting it.
Well, I would like to remind you that it could be something much more sinister than a ladybug.
Oh my gosh. We grew up down literally we could walk to the lake growing up, and roaches.
Yeah, big. If they fly, dude, I'm out. They win. They can have the whole house. I don't even care.
Actually, been roaches this large before in my bedroom.
We're not talking about it. I'm not ready for that.
All right, no, let's answer this question.
Tasha, go first.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Maybe it will help you answer this question.
Maybe. Why do I feel like a celebrity? Hearing that question. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Is that where you think you'll be in 5 years? I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to see my editing business be a full-time thing. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And definitely living in a world that is not still debating something that is such a fundamental, obvious
right
issue.
Not fighting ladybugs.
Not fighting ladybugs.
Like it is
You are
on a
so
roll. It is
silly.
like on the move.
Yeah, it is. Now I can't get it off. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I would like to see things be a bit more peaceful. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a cabin as a hermit by myself up in the mountains, being like, fuck you guys, I'm living off the grid because people.
Can't do it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could go either way. Who knows?
It's either going to be the apocalypse or it's going to be fine.
Awesome. No gray area.
No.
That's right. It doesn't get much more black and white than that. I'm just saying. Either everything's on fire, burning down, or it's okay.
And for anyone watching who does not have a uterus, that's what it feels like to be a woman.
Sometimes.
No,
Sometimes.
not sometimes. All the time.
All the time.
It's either
Yep.
good or we want to burn it all down. All
It's true.
right, what about you? Where you want to be in 5 years? Still my friend. Keep going.
I think about that one. I'm just kidding. Truly, in 5 years, let's see, in 5 years, my daughter will be in 4th grade. And I know, right?
Don't like that.
I know. And ideally, I would have another child in pre-K because I really want another baby. I
Yeah.
really do. And I will, because around 4th grade is when you start having conversations with your little girls about life changes and what their bodies are capable of. So there are people who have them sooner. I'm prepared for like 9-ish, I think. Because
You're never prepared for this.
but
one,
I
don't
never had those conversations.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, like we love our moms like a lot. They did a lot for us, you know, growing up, and now as adults and mothers ourselves, like they do a lot and they're amazing, but they never talk to us about periods or sex or what your bodies really do. So that's something that
Spoiler alert, a lot.
Truly women's bodies, the female reproductive system is
Regardless of children, mind you.
regardless of children, the female reproductive system in itself is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. It is truly amazing, whether it's bared children, whether it has not, whether it's in menopause, whether, you know, it doesn't matter. The female reproductive system in itself is truly an amazing scientific and medical, like, I don't want to say amazement, but here we are because I'm running out of words. But it really is mystery, enigma. Like,
there's all the words you're looking for.
It's a beautiful thing.
Let me get my
And
thesaurus.
yeah. And so in 5 years, I would like to be able to tell my daughter that this is what her body, the amazing things her body goes through and is capable of, and she has every right to do with it whatever she wants. That's where I see myself in 5 years.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's legal and true is to be determined, obviously.
Yeah.
But that is where I see myself in 5 years.
And that kind of reminds me too, like one more reason that they really have no business trying to regulate it is because it's still so unknown to people. Like you go to a doctor, even if they've been an OBGYN for 30 years, they're not going to know right off the bat what's wrong.
My mom had a hysterectomy like 10 years ago or something like that. I think we were in high school when mom had her hysterectomy, and they didn't know until they took it.
10 years. Go ahead.
Oh, you're right. Damn, we're old. Anyways,
It's been a minute.
It's been longer than that. Anyways, it's been a few minutes. But when she had it out, it wasn't until they took it out that they realized, oh shit, that's a lot of endometriosis that we didn't know about until we took this organ out of her body. Damn. You know, like that's getting better. People are advocating for themselves. Women are advocating for themselves. They're not letting people tell them, no, it's in your head. No, you're crazy. And that's what we have to continue to encourage people to do. And you know what? That's another thing that this book encourages people to do is advocate for themselves, speak for themselves.
And each other.
And each other. Yes. Like
Yeah.
At my mom's group today, this is slightly related, but definitely not at the same time. I'm sorry.
We're not going to get through all the questions.
We are going to get through all the questions. We're
Speed it up. Just kidding.
It was about advocating for your children.
Yeah.
Because this mother went through multiple pediatricians, of the pediatricians telling her 14-year-old daughter, it's in your head. You're making this up. You're not sick. You're fine. It's anxiety. It's not. She's real fucked up. She's got blood disorders and like all kinds of things that they were not willing to listen and do the research to diagnose.
And I think you can say whatever you want, but you couldn't pay me to think that if they had been a son, it wouldn't have been different, because it would have been. It's always different when men have health concerns.
They at least would have listened to him more and not blamed anxiety.
Yeah.
Which
was something women were said to have not even been able to have until not that long ago.
That's right.
Okay, moving on.
Or it's emotional.
Where are you going to be in 5 years?
With the way this year has gone, right here. No, I think, I don't know. I have some more anthology things I want to do. I want to continue to grow my channel and do my content. I'm good on kids. And I don't know. I mean, outside of that, this last year has taught me that planning is a pretty useless tool for most things. And so I have learned to kind of just be like, if I drop something and I make a mess in my lap, instead of being upset anymore, that's just my life. I've just gotten used to it. So I don't really plan too much. I think I am right now just trying to.
Look. Did you see it?
Is it back?
It's crawling across the top of my computer and it got it in the camera.
I missed it. I was looking around talking.
It'll come back around.
Ladybug. Jesus Christ.
You're not even yelling at Aria this time.
No. She's not Ladybug when I'm mad at her. It's Aria.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I think otherwise I'm just trying to live by the moment. I just don't have it in me to plan ahead anymore, because the life I thought I wanted, the life I thought I was going to have got like pulled out from under my feet. And so I just, I just do what I have time to do every day. Watch more horror movies. Read some books eventually.
One day you're going to switch to Audible.
I'm not. I'm not. They just smell so good.
Okay, sure. But you can hold it in your hand while you listen to them read to you.
While you're driving? Because that's like the only time you can do. I mean, I don't go to the gym.
I
That's
didn't
not
say
happening.
you were reading it. I said you're holding. It could be in your lap while you're driving.
Next question. Can you just?
Okay, do you want to do these?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Here. Sorry. Do this answer.
Sorry.
There
we go.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Aww.
Okay. Then the next question. There you go.
The hardest part of the process. Our cover artist was a pain in my ass. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Love you. I'm just kidding. Apparently the hardest part was spelling the correct form of forward.
It's really only one letter that you left out.
Yeah, but it's just in here twice. It's in the table of contents and the pages.
I mean, you can be really clever and make it backward.
Well, and I think it was Ruthanna that pointed it out. She was like, you could do it like it's meant to be that way. And I'm like, no, they gonna know.
You're trying to move forward.
Yeah, they gonna know I don't know how to spell. I think that, I don't know. The hardest part of the process, in all honesty, was probably getting used to using Ingram Spark, because I had never done it before.
Now you're a professional.
I don't know that that's true. I see it. Get out of here. I'm trying to do a video.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's probably the hardest part, because it's a huge learning curve. You Googled stuff, Ruthanna. I had to Google stuff like we got it figured out. But like, it was one of those things where it was just like, I hate technology, like I love it and I hate it at the same time. But no, I know. And people did help me. No, I'm very lucky. But I think the other thing that's true is I think like, that really was the only thing that was hard, because the rest of it just felt so good. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be cheesy. I'm being sincere. Like getting the stories, reading through them, putting them together in a Word doc to send to Damien, working through like, I mean, just the details, getting everything organized. Like that was all cake to me. The hardest part and the most frustrating part was Ingram Spark. They pissed me off. And here's another complaint, and I shouldn't be complaining because this is who's publishing our book. So here's the thing. readers of the world, what do we not mail books in? Anything that is not weather resistant.
That's right.
So it has been raining here for 100 years, and they sent this bitch in a cardboard package. You know what was soaking ass wet when I got home that afternoon? This. I was so pissed. I'm like, you are a publisher.
That's how I found the date.
You literally make money in books.
That's
Yeah.
how I found the date of when she received it.
Because I was pissed.
I got a video that she was like, "You motherfuckers."
I was so mad. Anyway, that's the other thing. But that was the hardest part of the process. Was that one. I think
What about for you, Tasha, though?
people who ship books and non-weather resistant should be locked away or set on fire, because that's how I felt on Monday. Hi, Steve.
Amen.
Thanks.
Honestly, I think it's been like the emotional part of it. Like, because as good as it feels like giving everybody the opportunity to express themselves and everything, like it's hard not to read these stories and like be upset or be angry. And obviously that's a sign of good writing because they make you feel those things. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it has been a lot, I think. Like I said, when I was editing, like I had to stop and like take a break because it wasn't just like reading through these stories. I was like dissecting these stories, and whew, I mean, hardly any of them needed real work, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think for me, I just found that cathartic. Because it's sad. It brings up some things that maybe like for me, there was some stuff that came up while reading things that like I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't prepared to feel those things,
Perspective you hadn't thought of.
Yeah, things that I hadn't thought of, ways to look at things but all of that was just this beautiful part of like seeing the world through other women's eyes, which is what we're trying to get these idiots to do to begin with,
True that.
Yeah.
No, it's like I said, like it is. I mean, the stories have all been amazing and absolutely love them. But like I guess more along the lines that we feel that we have to write them, I guess.
Sure.
That's
a very heavy feeling.
Down to, maybe.
Yeah, girl, I understand.
I think that sounds better. More
I wasn't
accurate.
part of the process of like putting the book together, but the process of writing for it though, I was happy to do it. Like I was excited to like put something out there. Right?
I feel like you're starting with that because you're going to say something mean.
It's not mean. It's just negative.
I wanted to do it, but
no, it's not mean. It has nothing to do with you.
Oh, then you can say whatever you want.
But I was excited for the opportunity. But one of the reasons it took me so long, besides the like actual emotions of what I wanted to write, because I already knew what I wanted to write.
Yeah.
But it's the emotions of going through it and putting it in words and having to read it again. It's also the fear of being judged was part of the hardest, one of the hardest parts for me to start actually writing, because once I started writing, I couldn't stop.
Mine was like
I
that
had to finish it.
Yeah.
And it was going to be out there. And it needs to be out there.
That's a good point.
It needs to be out there. Mm-hmm. But, I'm very proud to have my name in this anthology. But I know that there's going to be criticism from people in my life. And I know that people are going to judge the fact because of, number one, where we live in a very conservative area. Number two, my mom's group is a Christian group, and there are very strong opinions and on both sides from people in that group, and they'll know that it exists. Whether I'm ready for that, it doesn't matter because it's out there, and I'm very proud that it's out there. But that was part of, for me to...
Thanks, Mike.
Hubby. That was part of my process as writing, as a writer for it, was actually just saying fuck it about anybody who's going to put any kind of judgment out there towards me, that it doesn't matter because the story is too important.
Yeah.
It's too important to let that fear hold me back.
Yeah. Congratulations on the books, and maybe the first of many.
Hi, guys.
Thanks, Torfie. And I have no idea who it is. I can't tell from the writing, but hi, thanks. It was so nice that I'm thinking Rick, but I don't know. JR is not nice, so it's got to be Rick, right? Or Joe. Joe's probably at work. Anyway. Yeah. So question number 2, what is everyone drinking? Well, I was drinking whatever this
You
is.
still have some in there.
Not the bottle.
In your cup. They were out of the big bottles, so you only got one. Sorry.
That's okay.
I've got wine in a box.
That's
it's
awesome.
really good.
Classy.
Look, it's the Boda Mini. You know how they had the Boda boxes with the spout on them? It's the Boda Mini. It's like 2 glasses of wine. Really, I could have just put a straw in it, but that didn't seem very classy.
We mentioned where we were from, right?
I would have had like one of those like curly straws.
Oh,
yes.
the crazy straw.
The color changing ones.
Next time. Oh, I also got a little cherry DP here, Dr. Pepper. You're right. Look, box wine. I remember growing up, and my parents' fancy friends would bring over the Franzia in the white boxes. It was a fridge pack. You'd put the box in the fridge
pack.
Yes, and it had a spout, and that was what it was fancy.
Oh, here you go. Okay. She's had Ruth Anna says Boda Minis are awesome.
Yeah, they are. They're so good.
I don't do red, so I probably wouldn't like that. But
it takes up this alleges it's 3 glasses of wine. Oh,
a little shot glass, maybe.
Shot glass.
Yeah, no, I remember that growing up, and now box wine is like the thing because people don't want glass. I'm saying
or corks.
Yeah, but because of the cheap ass dessert wine that I drink, there's almost never corks. It's a twist off.
It's okay.
It's called Headache in a Bottle.
Yum.
Moscato with the bubbles.
Yum. I was just talking about this earlier today. It doesn't matter what you drink as long as you like it. No judgment.
Right. That's right.
No judgment. Okay.
Unless it's Bud Light.
Oh, then lots of judgment.
All of the judgment.
Okay. Next. What was the most emotional moment you had during this time?
Cool.
I know mine. Do you guys want me to go first? You think about it for a second?
You can go first.
So mine was writing my story. So when I got to this specific place where I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Who cares?
Yes.
You the one that's paying for it. Ain't anybody's business. It's like bodily autonomy. See, I went full circle on that one. For me, it was, I got to this place in my story where I was, going through some very real emotions and memories and some things. And so I was like brimming with tears and trying to get through them as I wrote, because the same thing that you were talking about happened with me. When I started writing my story, it just fell out of me onto my Word document. Like I wrote it all, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, other than revisions and Tasha telling me to fix some stuff, it only took me about 15 minutes to write it, because once it started, it did not stop until it got to the end. And I originally had something very different in my head, and then it got more real than I was anticipating it being. And that was really raw and emotional for me. And I kind of went back and forth on what I wanted to put out there, what I wanted to say, what did I, and I think that I don't think I could have written anything that would have made it more clear what I wanted to say. And I think that that was really emotional for me, because this is a story that I haven't told very many people. And so I think it was very raw and real and vulnerable, and it was scary, but it was really emotional. So that was my emotional moment. You kind of already talked about yours a little bit.
I did talk about mine. It's like, because mine comes from like, I want to make sure you can hear me.
And then,
sorry, mine comes from like real gut wrenching fear of like, so I have fertility issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Without going into a lot of details. And so truly, when I was pregnant with my daughter, like I didn't let myself believe that I was pregnant until like between 4 and 6 months after we found out she was a girl. And then it still took time for me to really embrace it, because I was terrified I was going to wake up and it would have all have been a dream.
Yeah.
Because it took so long. Let's be real. We lived together for 10 years married and unmarried.
Not me. She means her husband.
Me and my husband. And it's not like we were trying.
We lived together for a long time, but we didn't live together for that long.
But it
Thanks
was
for
not.
We're not
clarifying.
married.
But we weren't trying to not have a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that amount of time, and people, it's really sorry. You know, it's not easy.
No emotions
But-
here. Come on.
But people, you hear a lot about miscarriages.
Yes.
And what you don't hear about a lot is the emptiness and the loss that people that haven't experienced any of that feel. Like it would in that amount of time, this is terrible to say, but I'm going to say it because it's true. I would have almost have rather have it at least experienced what it may have been like to go through a miscarriage than to
Never
feel
be able to.
than to have never felt any of it at all.
Yeah.
And that's like really big to say, but it's true because there's this barren emptiness that you feel when you can't have that.
Yeah.
And so then when all of these laws came out with the heartbeat bills and all this shit, like it was after Arya was born. And when that happened, it made me like terrified of like, well, what if when we go to try again, what if we really do experience that?
Yeah.
What if I go to jail because my body couldn't handle a pregnancy?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, fuck you. You killed your baby. Bye. And I'm like, nope, that's not what happened. You can't control your own body and what it can and can't hold. And they're like, fuck medical journals and doctors' opinions, jail. And that's,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like, I say that
Yeah.
sarcastically so that I don't cry.
But that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you know, that's a real thing. Like those are real emotions that went into my story. And then the other side of that is going through experiences with your best friend when she's gone through something really hard and thinking that you know what she went through because she shared with you, and then finding out it was a lot worse than she ever let you know. So that was eye-opening and difficult. And I was like, what in the fuck? Because like I didn't get very far, and I was like, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there and I had no idea,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What about you, Tasha?
I don't even remember what the question was.
Most emotional moment.
Oh,
That was when you got that message from that guy wanting to be motherfucker.
dude. That still makes me mad. Like,
I couldn't tell.
ugh.
There's like steam coming out of your ears when you're talking about.
Yeah.
The best part
Okay,
is like
dude.
I actually belong to this group on Facebook that's called The Only Thing Men Bring to the Table is Audacity. And it's all like screenshots of these god awful conversations that you would wish were jokes, but they're like
Their
serious.
reality.
Yeah. And that's what he makes me think of all the time is that's what he brought to the table was that goddamn Audacity. I guess probably, I mean, even though mine wasn't like as personal necessarily, like trying to write the foreword, because I've had this problem like all year. The more I've dove into my editing, the harder it is for me to feel like I can write.
Yeah.
Because I'm just in this mode of reading something that's been written and making adjustments and finding ways to bump it up to the next level and that kind of thing. So I felt like as many times, I couldn't even tell you how many times I wrote and rewrote and everything else. And it just annoyed the shit out of me because I felt like I wasn't like adequately expressing myself, or trying to, I feel like I was trying to like capture the way everybody feels, which again is just like impossible because it's just such a range of everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like I probably set an unrealistic standard for myself, but I got super frustrated, like trying to.
Can you hear this? Would you like me to turn it up? Mike? I take all my blown kisses back.
I mean, to be fair, I have something in my inbox that needs to be edited currently, and it's still there for Angel. Love you.
I hate all of you. If you would like to apply for the position of best friend,
Look, you shut up.
well, do you think like, are you happy with it? Like the final product, Tasha? Like of your forward? I swear to God, I will never spell that incorrectly ever again.
The lessons we learn the hardest.
Jesus.
I feel like without taking like another 3 weeks, that was probably like the closest that I was gonna get to.
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna re-answer it for you. You should be very proud of your forward because when I read your forward, I cried.
Yeah.
Really?
I did.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is
that's
beautiful.
Actually, Melinda stole my line because that's kind of where I was going is that I was curious how you felt because the way it's received is that it's perfect.
Yes.
It sets the perfect tone, the perfect stage for everything that follows. And that's exactly what A is for.
Coming in clutch like she always does.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that because I felt like I just tried to write it so many times, and of course, you get to a point sometimes where you start making changes, and then it snowballs, and you feel like the more you change, the worse it gets. So I just had to stop and be like, you know what?
I understand that. No, I definitely understand 100%. That. Yeah. No, I get that. So the next question, I'm going to answer this really quick because this is a short one for me. Do you have a different perspective on anthologies after having completed this project? No. I understand why people do anthologies first. I will say that. I think that working with other people is so rewarding, and you also are not responsible for all the work. So it's like a mix. It's a team effort, a collective effort to do something really awesome, especially with what we're doing. And I think like it was so like I kind of already felt like that's probably how it was going to be. You know, once we got past me being terrified that no one was going to submit stories. Thanks for everyone that submitted, but I was really paranoid about that. And I think that like they're usually, for most people, from what I have seen, is they're usually the stepping stones to other writing. And I think that I've always thought it makes sense. And I agree after this that it does make sense. I also think, side random note, well, it's not too random. I think that self-publishing is the way to go. Fuck all that other noise with like being rejected and no one and telling you your story is not good enough. It is good enough. You got to get it out there to people who want to fucking read it. And the big five aren't going to do that for you all the time. So do it yourself. If you're watching this video, if you're listening to my TED Talk and you want to be able to get your book out there, do it yourself. It's not that expensive. It's a little frustrating. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's not that expensive. And you have complete control over something that means something huge to you. And so that's the only thing that was my only other takeaway was self-publish or go to small indie presses like Freebie and like that. But that's about my extent on that one. We already kind of talked about the community a little bit. I'm looking at these other questions because we'll be wrapping up here soon. Let me think. Oh, here's one. If you could go back and do something differently, what would it be and why? Tasha, you go first for this one.
Well, it would have been like how I approached my forward, but you guys kind of took the wind out of my sails on that one because you said it was good. So now I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I think, because I didn't quite get as worried as you did with the submissions.
No, you were very positive and encouraging. I'm not those things. I'm encouraging, but not.
I think I would have tried to worry less because I did still worry about it.
Yeah. Well, and it the elephant in the room. It didn't help that we weren't the only one with this idea. And the other person that did is a lot more popular than I am. So.
Yeah. And
that made it hard.
I think there were a couple other ones that were actually paying and stuff too, instead of doing it as charity.
True too. And that's always an incentive for people trying to get their writing out there too.
Yeah.
Which no shade. I get that. I'd love to make money off stuff I do.
Yeah.
Go like and subscribe.
I guess if anything, like I would, not that I didn't have faith in the horror community at any point, but I think I would have had more from the onset, like doing it again.
I understand.
So, yeah, because I mean, everybody's freaking awesome, and that's why we got stories.
the support that we've gotten for this has just been astronomical, from the shares and the post and the tagging and the authors sharing and posting and tagging. And I can't even say thank you enough to everybody that's just been so supportive in and outside the project. Yeah. So my thing that I would change is I would not misspell the word forward, because now I'm terrified that we're not going to make our release date, which, by the way, our release date is. So our current release date, we'll put a little asterisk by that, is next Friday. December 16th is supposed
It's my birthday.
Tasha didn't know the release date.
No, I didn't.
Yes. So the 16th is the release date for the Livestock anthology. Pending I'm able to get Ingram Spark to approve my change of the word forward. And if that happens, then it will keep its release date. It will be available as an ebook and as a paperback, as you've seen. So that, and for anyone who's not clear on how much of the charity like this is, all profit from the book goes directly to our charity. It does not. Tasha and I, like, nobody makes money off of this except Ingram Spark, who better start changing the way they fucking mail their books. And so, but all of the profit from the story, from the stories, goes to I'm a bottle of wine in at this point. Goes to what? I totally draw a blank too. Tasha, what's our charity?
Oh God.
Oh my God. It has to do.
I don't remember.
Fuck me either.
It's been so long.
It has been. But look, Ruth Anna's excited about 16. Friday felt like a good one, and I wanted to get it out before the holidays so people can make their families mad. That seems like an appropriate,
absolutely,
thing. But yeah, so anybody who was close, I know that was one of the questions that came up when people were submitting, was the percentage of profit and stuff. So the books are going to be the price point that they are because I wanted the amount that went towards the charity to be a little bit more. I think I put them at like $10. I should know that. When I tell y'all that Ingram Spark was a pain in the ass, it was. And I had to fix the pricing thing so many times, you think it'd be like drilled into me, but it's not. It had, I think, yeah. So it's going to be like, I think the ebook is like half that. The ebook's like $4, and then the physical will be like $10, I think. But all of the profits from that go straight to charity. We don't see any of that. I paid for this out of my own pocket. I paid for the ISBN, the publishing part. Like, I did all of that out of my own pocket. I get none of that.
Center for Reproductive Rights.
I almost said Center for Women's Rights, but I knew that wasn't right. Center for Reproductive Rights. Thank you very much, Tasha Reynolds. Woo! Yeah. So, so our release date as of right now is the 16th. If it gets delayed because of processing, I'll post about it everywhere probably.
I almost feel like it'd be funnier to keep the forward the way it is at this point.
I mean, it really, if somebody read that and they said, forward, that's right. That's right.
Y'all are given, okay, people who are going to buy this book, please do not take offense to the words that are about to come out of my mouth. I think you're giving people too much credit. I think a lot of readers are going to read it and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So professional.
You're not wrong. As an editor, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, I don't get why this is this for real? In my best Valley Girl accent. Oh my God.
By the way, I was
like, Tasha is the worst editor ever. Don't hire her.
Yeah. That bitch don't know how to spell forward. That's right. I should have blamed it on the editor. Damn.
Too late now. There's witnesses.
Now. I always thought it was on purpose.
No.
But not
quite.
I appreciate the honesty. My ego has been deflated for days at this point.
Fine.
Keeps us humble.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's true. No, I've learned to laugh about it because I wasn't even mad at myself. I literally was just like, of course. This is what I was talking about earlier with taking the day in stride. Everything sucks. So of course I misspelled a word a week before release. Twice.
It's okay.
I almost would have been more mad if the correct forward was in one of the two places. So I'm kind of glad that both were wrong. Jesus. Okay, I've got time for like a couple more. Let me see. Ow, I don't know what happened. Melinda, you haven't here. You can hold it too. Tasha won't get to hold it till she gets her contributor copy. So the question is, what did it feel like to hold the copy of the book for the first time?
I don't know yet.
I cried. I think you will too.
Probably.
What did I hit? Oh, Jesus. Twitter, calm down. I cried. It's so funny because if this had not been so meaningful to me, I would have probably burned down Ingram's Spark. Like, I was so mad when I got this book and it was soaking wet that I was like, what? But then I opened it and I touched it and I held it and I flipped through the pages before I saw the forward thing. And I was like, oh my God, like we worked so hard to get this shit together. And this is fast turnaround for this, by the way, because this came to be in September. What was today?
December.
Was it October? I don't fucking know. September. I think the plan was originally to get one out there. We took submissions until October. Was that what it was? I don't fucking know.
August.
Was it? Oh, it was before Mothman. You're right. My bad. Yeah. If you're new to life, everything after February is a blur. January takes 6 months to get through, and then the rest of the year is like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You're right, though. August. My bad. But either way, we took a month to get submissions, and then everything else that we've been able to accomplish. I mean, this was fast, especially as our first like major projects like this. Like we got this shit done. We were very motivated.
Super excited because like obviously like emotionally and all that, like it's super important and it's for a good cause. This is also going to be the first full like in paper thing that I have edited. Mm-hmm. And that I think is gonna like, I feel like selfishly that's probably what's gonna hit me first, and then like the rest is gonna come in because like,
girl, you put the time in. This is sincerely a labor of love. Mm-hmm. We worked really hard, like and like on editing, on the cover of the book. Poor Damien and the formatting, and he's like, you're missing like half the names. I was like, fuck, because I sent the look. I don't know at this point. But yeah, it felt really good.
It's longer than I thought it was going to be.
That's me what she too. Said. Giggity.
But
beat me to it.
She was like, I was so close to saying that.
I was so worried that mine was going to, God damn it, 13-year-old teenager minds. Okay. I was so worried mine was going to be like too short or too long. It's like 13 pages in this book. I have,
because of the formatting,
13 pages.
There we go.
Published literature with my name. Also, look how fucking cute this thing is.
Oh yeah, Damien threw in my logo with my little character at the back.
That's the last thing in the book.
He's so cute. I couldn't afford the colored version. But my logo is on the back in green.
In green.
So that's acceptable. But he sent it and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. She's going to have to be grayscale. It costs more money to do it in color. And that was another thing that Ruth Anna helped me with was like knowing what to pick for the paper color.
You have to pick your paper color?
Girl, I'm telling you, it's a lot.
You're like, book color, please.
I'm like, what'd you put for number 2?
It's a very nice light cream.
Yes, cream is the color. And if you're still here, Ruth Anna, what was the other thing? I think the cover being glossy or something. There was something else that she listed out, and I literally went back to our conversation, and I was like, this is all the stuff she said. Check, 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 check. I didn't know what the fuck to put. I've never published a book before.
I do. You know what I really like is that it has it is glossy, but also the texture is interesting. Hello, puppy.
Sup, Journey?
Oh,
he's like, it's bedtime.
Yeah. The texture. I can't even show it to you on the camera.
The grit. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. It looks very gritty.
It really like because the chain length chain length. Gosh.
Y'all, we're done. This is about to be off the rails. Okay.
Barbed wire.
How many glasses of wine was in her little box?
But I can still say bodily autonomy.
Well,
off the
Tasha's
tongue.
drinking water, so
Bodily
now you gotta
autonomy.
do a drink it.
Boom.
Did you just mess it up when you were
9
trying to?
points.
No, I said it right.
Okay.
Finally.
But the texture of it is really cool against the like rusty, bloody barbed wire.
Y'all just wait. Just
very
wait
cool.
till you get your hands on this. This thing is stunning.
yeah,
The camera, the pictures, none of that does it justice.
it really doesn't.
It's beautiful. This
Mhm.
accidental coloration. Oh my God, chef kiss.
it's
It's stunning.
perfect.
It's really pretty. Yeah,
It
it turned
is.
out amazing.
Yeah,
I
that
love
whole
it.
conversation was hilarious because she sent the one through and was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened to the color," and we were like,
And we were both like, no. Go back. We like it. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So,
Yes.
let me see what else we got. And then we could probably wrap up. I know you got bed. You got bed tomorrow? Woo! Work. You got work tomorrow.
to be fair, I have both.
I answered it.
the verbal question.
What was the verbal question? Glossy. Okay, see. Boom. Glossy. Yeah, yeah, I don't fucking know. I'm serious. Like, I don't know.
Not be the same
If
it
you
were
had
matched.
not been Googling and messaging with me while I was dealing with that, I probably I don't know. I really would have burned them down.
I mean,
That is weird
it is
and sticky. Oh.
Well, it's got that weird texture,
Texture.
and it would be
What was the
very
verbal
strange
question?
for.
Oh, I do have. I'm going to end on that one. Let me
Okay.
see if there's any happy ones. Okay. Steve sent a lot. I'm trying to go through ones that I don't feel like we touched on. The community support did not surprise me. Everyone was amazing, which I knew they would be. What did you?
Go ahead.
Future plans. We've talked about that. So
Our
I don't,
5-year
well, that was
future
kind of
book plans.
future book plans. So I don't know. What do I want to say?
I don't know. Whatever you say is going to be out in the universe now. So
Just got to leave. Nobody watches this. It's fine. If you're watching, you're somebody. I'm just kidding.
appreciate you.
Love you. Like and subscribe. And so I think that for me, I still want to do another anthology next year, another submission call. I think this was a lot of fun. I don't, I'm open to doing more projects like this in the future. I really enjoyed this. This was really fulfilling. It's a charity. It's got some, all of these things that we're trying to say and make known and feel heard and seen. I just, this was such a rewarding experience. I hope to do more things like this.
So maybe part of your future plans are charity donation and profit at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that the dog?
No, that's Tasha. She's tired.
It could go either way. I'm not gonna lie.
He's like,
I still,
he's
so-
like, I'm tired of your bullshit. Can we?
yeah, it's post bedtime. Well, so okay, I still can't laugh correctly. So I had COVID in January, and I still, every time I laugh too hard, I cough. Over that shit. Anyway, let me see if there's anything else, and then I have
Other than
one that I want to
anything
end on. I think we covered most everything else. Okay. Yeah. So the question I'm going to end on. It was brought to my attention that someone felt that it wouldn't be very wise for me to try to grow a channel and be political. And I mean this with the respect deserved to that question. Bodily rights, bodily autonomy is not political.
It is a human right.
It is a human right. We have made it political. People saying, oh, I don't want to talk about that because it's political, have made it political. It's not political. And it's not going to ruin me. Y'all know I work full time, right? Like this is barely more than a hobby. Calm down.
If anyone thought we were making a living off of this, thank you. However,
Like and subscribe.
Yes. That's also true. But the other side of that is I don't want views and likes and shares and interactions with people who don't think I have a right to choose what happens to my body. You can get fucked.
Yep.
Like, that's how I feel about that. And so I don't care if what's going to happen. I still make videos that nobody watches.
Those 50 people love your videos.
All 5 of y'all.
There's
4. We're down to
currently.
4. All 4 of y'all.
There were 6.
There were 7 now.
Oh, look, Mike's back.
I know. Sorry, I was laughing. But we live in. See, there goes my COVID laugh. I can't help it.
But in all seriousness,
But that's my point. My point is this is a basic human right. We can argue. This is not a liberal thing. This is not a Democrat thing. This is not a Republican thing. At the end of the day, it's none of your goddamn business what somebody does with their own body consensually. It's none of your business. And anybody who thinks otherwise, I think I said this already, can get fucked.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, the whole thing is
also
like
our
just
anthology
because,
comes out on the 16th, so please buy it.
just because it's something that, well, not right now, but if abortion is something that's allowed, it doesn't mean you have to go get one.
Yeah, calm the fuck down.
Yes.
Nobody's lining your ass up. That's not how it works.
That's
Right.
absolutely not how it works. Like but you should be able to say
You should have got me 2 bottles. This would get real amped. Real fast.
Sorry, maybe it was the universe when the big bottles were gone. But it's but I mean seriously though,
Yeah.
like there are still states in the United States that your husband specifically has to sign off
Yes.
on
that's
you
true.
having your tubes tied.
Yep.
Or you having a hysterectomy. It doesn't matter if your uterus is literally killing you. You have to have your husband sign off on it. Luckily, Georgia's not one of those states anymore. But there are states in the country that we live in where you have to have your husband's approval. So fuck you if you're 42 and you've never been married and you want a hysterectomy because your life is miserable because of endometriosis. Oh well. Like, it's fucked up. You're welcome.
But we live in.
But we live in. That's right.
That's the new motto over here. Voices from the mausoleum. Did you catch that I said, you're going to laugh at this, Tasha, because you always fuck this up too. I said, for the title of, the book that we've been pouring our heart and souls into, I said, Stories of the Unheard. Did you catch me say that?
No.
I try to give you so much shit for saying of instead of from the mausoleum.
And every time I stop to think about it, I think from, and then I'm like, no, that can't be right. It's got to be of. And I doubt myself, and then I give the wrong answer.
I'm not gonna lie. I had to put this title in about 30 times for Ingram Spark. And I had to look every time because I kept forgetting. And there's something about those two things specifically, though, because of and from get mixed up on everything. I blame you. That was what I was getting at. It's all your fault. But anyway.
Anyways, is it political? No.
Do I care if it was political and people unfollowed me? No.
This probably wasn't the right place for them anyways.
Boom.
Right.
And they still bought the book and donated to the fucking charity.
That's going to be the best part of negative reviews, y'all. I'm serious. Every negative review will only put us in our next stage ready to fight. We'll be
I
like,
will laugh so hard.
what is it? What does it Pokemon do? I'm totally tired, you guys. What is
Battle?
it? No. Evolve. Be evolving.
I was like, catch them all?
That's the one.
That's the one.
I can't even make that fit into what I was trying to say. Anyway. Well, we're going to go wrap Christmas presents.
I'm going to go to bed.
I think I have more alcohol downstairs. I may need it at this point.
We also have food to absorb the alcohol you've already had.
That's true.
Yes.
If there's more alcohol involved, I want to see pictures of the presents after they're wrapped.
I'm going to be honest. It ain't going to look that different for me. I'm not very good at it.
They're just for 4
You can put that under the table of girly things I am not good at. Another thing, don't do that. We don't like it. Nobody wants to be put in a fucking box.
That's right. All right. Are there any other questions for people who are still with us?
I think that's it.
Or
Oh,
is that it?
I see what you're saying.
There's still.
I answered for the. I'm sorry. Moving right along. Anybody else? Any other thoughts, concerns, questions? If the book gets delayed for any reason, I'll post about it. But otherwise, the current release date is the 16th. Next Friday.
Fuck
There's
yeah.
a song for that, but I will not sing it because it will get stuck in everybody's head and they'll be very angry.
The
Is
Rebecca
that some
Black
Katy
song?
Perry?
No, Rebecca Black.
Rebecca Black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your whole face was like, as soon as she said that. That's terrible.
Also, there's probably a
Right.
copyright on that now.
Don't do it.
I think y'all are amazing. That's my thought, and I'm so proud of y'all.
Aw.
Melinda hits hard. He's obligated to say nice things.
He texted me to say that apparently all of the emergency workers of our city came out to our apartment complex tonight to wake our daughter up. So
Oh shit!
he came back on his own accord. So we have that going.
Thanks,
for us.
Mike. Cool.
Yes, this
All
has
right.
been fun.
Any final thoughts, Tasha, before you go to bed for work tomorrow?
Isn't that what Jerry Springer says?
Any final thoughts before you go to bed?
Or any final
No,
thoughts?
he
That's
said
very
that's your
specific.
final thought,
Okay.
or that's my final thought.
No, just
I was like
I mean,
that.
again, a million times as much as we've thanked everyone that has participated, 1,000 times more.
Yeah, we can't do it enough.
And to everybody who's going to get a copy because they love us and they love the cause. And I'm super excited to have a copy.
Yep. I would like to get them out to you guys before then, but we'll just hope it doesn't rain that week.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Buy our anthology.
Okay.
Like and subscribe.
Here, this is perfect because my final thoughts are the same as
Aw.
Ruth Anna's. Is thank you for giving us the opportunity to even have this exist, because without the two of you coming up with this and doing the work and getting it out there and making it happen and like coming to fruition, like if you didn't do that, then there would be something missing and we wouldn't know what it is. So the fact that you've done this is it means a lot. Like you'll find that out, I'm sure, a lot over time, because it truly does mean so much that this is that women's rights, bodily autonomy is important enough, and that you put this out there to help people and to get people's voices out there about something that is so important.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
You're venturing into feelings. I might need you to knock it off.
You're welcome.
Tasha's like, I'm drinking water over here. Calm down. Well, and I'm sure Tasha feels similarly, but I don't really look at this. When I say our, I just mean everybody, because love you. Thank you for all your help and support.
I need to get better at hand hearts.
I think, when I think about this, it's all of our anthology. It's the anthology for women who didn't even have stories in it, and we couldn't have done the things that we did if we didn't have stories to build it with. And I mean, when I tell you, seriously, there is something for everybody in this. Like, there is body horror, psychological horror, like there's creature features there. I mean, no shit. Like, there's seriously, it's something for everybody.
Real life
experiences. Like, there's goopy stories. There's like a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sincerely, like there really is something for everybody. So I hope when this goes out that people are going to be just as excited, that it will be just as meaningful for readers that it was for us to put it together, because when JR and I are going to do like most, spoiler alert, most proud moments of 2022. Who knows? 2022. And this is by far my number one. This is the thing that I am the most proud of from this year. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us and asking questions and interacting. And
it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey.
Did you say boo?
She's like he's doing, how he's got his face up.
Okay, don't laugh at me. My dog purrs.
Huh?
He purrs. Like if you scratch like the right spot on his neck, it sound like the noise.
He says, speaking of which,
Go on.
he says
The
you called.
noises he makes, like it's exactly like when a cat purrs, and it makes me laugh so hard.
That's so funny.
Oh, I'm
really funny.
sorry. did I
He's so
embarrass you?
unique. You guys are meant to be together. You're both weirdos. I love it.
We really are.
We really are weirdos.
I can't even argue with it. I mean,
No, you shouldn't fight it. You should just accept it.
Just embrace
Okay.
it.
right, buddy.
So in short,
Right, buddy. Come on.
bodily
Bodily
autonomy, thank you, is not political. It is a basic human right. If you are into horror anthologies, this is for you. If you're in for making a difference, this is for you. If you like charity anthologies, this is the one for you. So we're are you saying goodnight? Tell everybody, say bye. You should have put peanut butter in his mouth so you make it look like he's talking. Get the anthology.
That's right.
It's
They
great.
drool all over my
Great.
computer.
Look how happy he is talking about the anthology. His tail hasn't stopped wagging. Get out of here, you smoozer.
Yes.
Come on.
He's like, okay, but that hand was petting me. What the fuck? Anyway, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and talking about our anthology. Again, the current release date is December 16th. TBD, because Angel doesn't know how to spell. It will be available on ebook and paperback.
Fuck yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, okay. I do know
That's
who it is.
JR.
I know. I was gonna say, okay, I know who it is now. Yes.
Let me just like take a picture of this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Great. Oh my God. Put it on your website.
That's right.
I'm sure that'll be linked down below.
Oh, I haven't added anything.
Bam.
Eventually.
I was adding this to this thing, like the schedule thing, at like 11:30. I was like, oh fuck, let me put this up real quick. I'm a professional.
Totes. That's why you're gonna like and subscribe. And you're gonna share with your friends.
My COVID laugh. Okay. Anyway,
All right.
thank
For
you
real.
guys so much. Everyone who's helped support, chit-chatted, asked questions, walked me through Ingram Sparks, looking at you, Ruth Anna. Thank you. Well, we learned together, but either way. So yeah, December 16th. Don't forget. I'll be posting about it incessantly for the next 5 years.
That's your 5-year plan.
I was just thinking the same thing. So funny. Anyway, all right. Well, that's it for Voices from the Mausoleum. So hope you guys have a good night. Enjoy your fucking weekend. Do something fun. Buy our anthology, like, and subscribe. That's the short ones on it, right?
Yes. Spark notes.
That's Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes version.
Jesus.
Okay. All right. Good night, you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.